Paul Tagliabue passed away on Sunday. And this one hit me personally because he was one of the first people I met after I was hired to host the NFL Network. As a matter of fact, in our green room, hung up in there is a letter I received when I lived on the Upper West Side of Manhattan from Paul Tagliabue, a welcome aboard letter from him. I saved everything, the piece of paper and the envelope, because it kind of felt big when I was hired by NFL Network in 2003 after being handed a cardboard box by our current Rich Eisen Show benefactors up in Bristol, Connecticut, just about 8 days before I got married. And so if you don't mind putting it back up there, Mike, he hand wrote out at the end, most important for now, in parentheses he wrote, and the long-term exclamation point, congratulations on your marriage to Susie, who he had never met by that point. A personal touch from the commissioner of the National Football League. And obviously, the NFL Network is not born without Paul Tagliabue's stewardship. And I'll never forget, we're in our first year, I think, of NFL Network. There was an Irish bar down the street from our studio in Culver City. And after a show, Tagliabue showed up. He was, by the way, the first ever guest in the history of NFL Network. We interviewed him and showed him how he is in the top 5 or 10 rebounders in the history of Georgetown basketball. He was a tall man who played hoops for Georgetown before, obviously, he became what he became, a lawyer and then the commissioner of the NFL for 17 years. And I remember going with him, Joe Brown, who was the keeper of the flame at his right-hand man, and also the COO of the time, his eventual successor, Roger Goodell. We all went with the crew after an NFL Total Access to the Irish bar, and the bartender and the people there were so excited to have the commissioner of the NFL in there. They handed him a shillelagh. There's a photograph of Tagliabue holding a shillelagh and just cutting loose, is only one would think he could. Like, that's as far as I've ever seen him cut loose. And then just, again, his stewardship of the NFL Network, so crucial, part of the 17 years highlighted by very important items on his to-do list, expanding the league from 28 to 32 teams. If you're a fan of the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Texans, or the Cleveland Browns, he's the one that expanded to those spots, including giving Cleveland its franchise back. Let's not forget, he was the one when 9/11 happened, that he was the one who canceled the games that weekend, and everybody was looking for his leadership to what do we do? What do we do? A lot of other sports leagues were like, what do we do? The NFL canceled its games, and then a bunch of others did follow suit. If you're a fan of the Saints, you still have a team because this man refused to let Katrina blow the Saints off the NFL map from New Orleans. I'll never forget NFL Network. We were there that night when the Superdome reopened on a Monday night. We all remember what happened in that game. That was when Steve Gleason blocked a punt. There's a statue in front of the stadium that still holds the Saints because of Paul Tagliabue from that night.
The moving of the Super Bowl.
Man, there was just so much that he helped with us at NFL Network. And, 17 years, no labor stoppages. This is after 2 strikes in 82 and 87. This handshake came at an owners meeting that we were covering here. He was so welcoming to all of us at NFL Network. We worked at his largesse and beck and call. And I'll never forget, I asked him once, one of the first things I did prior to NFL Network launching is he brought a contingent of NFL folks to Lambeau Field for the opening of the 2003 season. NFL Network didn't come on the air till week 11 of the 03 season. And he was leading a contingent to Lambeau Field because they had just renovated. And Dante Culpepper spoiled the party. Never forget Joe Brown. I love you, Joe. He said to me, he goes, Rich, sitting next to Tagliabue, goes, so, Vikings beating the Packers, did that knock you out of your survivor pool? And I'm like, Joe, I don't know what you mean. Because he was asking me if I was gambling in front of the NFL commissioner, and Tagliabue laughed at that. But I did ask Tagliabue on that flight home, I asked him, because he invited me to come with them, which was very welcoming again. He didn't have to do that. And I asked him, I said, you know, you came up through the ranks as a lawyer for Washington, and you were a season ticket holder. Do you still have your season tickets? And he said, no, because when he took the job from Pete Rozelle told him that you no longer have one team in mind. You have all teams in mind. And the only team you root for as commissioner is the team that's losing, because you want close games. And I'll never forget that. Is basically, he's just like, it's all about these games, the competition, and what's going on the field. Obviously, there's lots of the business acumen I'm sure I was not privy to. And we do all know, you know, what was going on with concussions at the time. And he even said at the end of his career, he regretted a lot of the things that he was saying on that front while he was commissioner for 17 years. And I'm sure there's some folks listening to me right now saying I should be mentioning that. And you know, he talked about it himself, but he was always about the shield. He was always for us at NFL Network. My God, without him, there wouldn't be one up the road. And for that, I say thank you. I'm forever in his debt there. And to his wife, Chandler, his son, Drew, his daughter, Emily, his extended family, and, of course, his National Football League family, I say rest in peace. Paul Tagliabue passed away at the age of 84 on Sunday.